Hello, everyone. We're now on to Mashle, Magic, and Muscles. And the chapter was good. It starts with the rest of the competitors that were there finishing up the trial, getting their key out of the balloon, because I guess there were several balloons so that a lot of people can qualify for the next round. We see that Lance did it, Finn, Marguerite, and even, we did see Finn, but Dot did it. Finn, I don't know if he did actually, now that I'm looking at it. We still see that Max and Mash are celebrating. Max is glad that it actually worked. And Mash is giving the key to Max because Mash thinks Max did more of the work for it, but Max pauses and says that Mash is a good person. He was surprised by that. Mash says that he wouldn't say that. Max gives Mash the key and tells him that the exit is in a specific direction and that a time factor is in this as well for their rankings. Max says that Rain told him about Mash and that Max didn't quite believe Rain about Mash being a good person or not. So he came to see it for himself, but then Mash did prove it and he wants to prove himself and calls it selfish that he wants to help people like Mash. Max is Mash's senior, and so he should help Mash, and he wants Mash to help him to keep his honor. Mash agrees, leaves, and goes through the door with the key. However, Max ends up feeling something and sees another character come, and that character attacks him. Max senses something, and so he then plans on fighting that character, who we find out is Carpaccio Lu Yang of Orca. And now Orca is seeming like the villain house of this whole school. So they fight. Mash goes through the door, gets a drink and a towel so they can rest before the next test. Finn and Dot seem exhausted, and then Lance and then they're all hanging out. Mash admits he had help with getting the key. Lance asks why the person that helped Mash would send him ahead first. The announcer then says only 9 candidates can advance to the next stage, and the final slot was by Lu Yang, and Lu Yang beat the crap out of Max. Max is bloody and beaten. The announcer thinks it's a declaration of war, as then Lu Yang steps on Max's head and says he doesn't like weaklings and says weaklings are worthless. Mash asks why he's doing that and to stop or he'll get punched. Dot says that Lu Yang was one of the top students coming into this year who continued in the school and that he might be as good as Lance. Lu Yang and Mash have a stare down as Lu Yang grabs a cup of water and plans on dumping it onto Mash's head and telling him weaklings should keep quiet, but then Mash moves out of the way as Lu Yang pours out the water. Mash grabs it with another cup and pours some protein powder into it so he can have his protein shake, because he almost missed it, his scheduled time for his protein shake. He then explains the secret of protein powder and the whole thing, and then he adds in that he's calling so many people weaklings when Mash has never met anyone stronger than him, and just looks at him point blank and just says this, and it's simply amazing that Mash is just that threatening on occasion. I thought it was great. Simply that stare down, it was super funny. So next week, we'll get into the next trial with now a new villain along with Marguerite. So it seems as though the Orca house is the one we all have to look out for, as the other one seems to be on the back burner for now. I wonder what the next event will be, the next test. It should be a fun one. I'd give this chapter a B. It was pretty great in its own right, and again, fairly funny, with a strong ending. So if you enjoyed my ramblings, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching.